Has Obi-Wan Kenobi asked you this question yet? Do you think any of us will look back on our lives and regret the things we didn't buy or places you didn't go? Has the Star Wars character reached out to you yet over the internet or on your TV to ask that question? And what was your answer? Need to buy more stuff or need to travel somewhere? It's a brilliant commercial, I think. It was released back during the Super Bowl, and it has Ewan McGregor, who plays the well-known character from Star Wars, Obi-Wan Kenobi, who is known for traveling the universe, walking through this studio sound stage where other Super Bowl commercials are being filmed and recorded. And he's posing this question, like, do we really need to buy more? Is that what you really want? Do you need a smarter smartphone? Do you need a lighter light beer? Do you need a crispier chip? Do you need a trendier fragrance? Do you need these things? And then as he walks past each of them, even as he walks past these astronauts with their smartphones, taking selfies of themselves floating out in space, oblivious to the beauty before them, this bird's eye view of the earth, they're lost in their consumption, and Ewan McGregor busts through the exit door of the sound studio, which opens out onto a most beautiful tropical beach with the sun setting slowly in the sky. The temperature must be perfect there. And everyone who has been locked inside during the pandemic to this point is just enjoying the view. And McGregor says, do you think any of us will look back on our lives and regret the things we didn't buy or the places you didn't go? Again, it's a brilliant question because Ewan McGregor, who plays this Jedi Knight, like a monk in another galaxy far, far away, a monk who possesses nothing but can travel from sector to sector in space, from planet to planet. Who wouldn't want that, especially after a pandemic lockdown? It's a brilliant commercial because it tugs on the heart. It sets up this question of regret. And regret is what we feel in our hearts when we make the wrong decision. Who wants to make the wrong decision here with the limited time that we have left on this planet? Will we regret the places we didn't go? In Jesus' time, and in the ancient world, when this letter is being written to this church in Thessalonica, in those days, the heart was the place where you would connect with your deepest values. The heart was where you wanted to be virtuous, you wanted to be righteous, you wanted to connect with God in your heart. And of course, to make a wrong decision that clashed with your heart would not only bring regret, but it would bring remorse. So in Jesus' day, what got emphasized was what's inside of you, in your heart. And then you would live out your life. Your actions, your behaviors would flow from what's being nurtured in your heart. The heart mattered. Today, it's not so much what's beneath the surface, what's hidden within that gets emphasized. It's the externals. How big we live our lives, or are we successful, or maybe smaller versions of that. It seems like what we emphasize to our children and to ourselves these days is not what's in the heart. It doesn't matter what's in the heart. It just matters what's seen on the outside. But not in Jesus' time. God was interested in, and God is interested in what's beneath the surface, what's at the heart of our lives. What's in your heart? What is it that drives you in your heart and the way that you live? Now, in the letter that I read, this letter that talks about our hearts being comforted, there's all kinds of defiance being signaled in that letter. I don't know, did you catch the words in there that are speaking to not being shaken, not being alarmed, that whatever may be pressing in from all sides, that we can stand against it. We can defy the forces of evil, and we can plant our feet, stand firm in what is rooted in our hearts. Stand firm in this grace that God has given us, this new life that God has given us. This letter is telling the Thessalonians, and it's telling us, you know what our job is about here on earth? Being defiant, to defy the evil one. The letter is being written to a church that's kind of confused. It's thinking, I thought that the end of the world was going to come during my lifetime, but it didn't come yet. I'm confused. What do we do? And the author is saying, don't worry. There's still a fight before us. The evil one is going to rebel. And we, as followers of Jesus Christ, can defy that rebellion. We can rebel against the rebellious evil one. If you stand firm with what we've taught you, with what's in your heart, if your convictions are strong about what's good, and you can resist evil. What's in our hearts, my friends? Do we nurture within our hearts something that can keep us rooted so that we can push back in this world against evil? Can we be that defiant? The letter says, now may our Lord Jesus Christ himself and God our Father, who loved us through grace, gave us eternal comfort and good hope, comfort your hearts and strengthen them in every good work and word. May God strengthen your ability to stand against evil, to defy evil without losing the convictions that God has planted in our hearts. There's a story from World War II, and maybe you've heard it, where a bit of the Battle of World War II was fought right here on Canadian soil. There were in Canada, and there was in Bowmanville, a prisoner of war camp with German prisoners there. Prisoners who had been shipped from overseas, mostly officers. At Camp 30, I think it was, in Bowmanville, there were about 600